I like paper too, but it's the same thing I have. I just want to make sure.
Was she flying jumbo jets yet?
Not quite. Getting closer.
All right, well, I will call to order the Monday, April 14th, 2025 meeting of the Airport Commission. Pursuant to the agenda, we'll have a moment of silence. And now the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance.
To the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes. I assume everyone has had a chance to, well, first let me appoint Mr. Van Doren to the committee. Actually, you can't appoint yourself, I understand.
That's okay. I'll do it.
I'll appoint you.
Volunteer.
You have a full committee here today.
Sorry.
You have a full committee.
Oh, I'm sorry. We do have a full committee.
Oh, yeah, that's.
I was thinking we were short one. Daily is the next meeting. Okay, my apologies. I assume we've had a chance to read the minutes of the previous meeting. If so, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, same sign. Motion carries. Is there any additional information or business to be added to the agenda?
No, sir.
Having no additional items added to the agenda, we'll move to the manager's report.
All right, so it's been about a month, probably about 2 months since I've seen you guys, but we have a little bit of a lengthy manager's report. So if you have any questions, I'd love to answer those. Equipment maintenance for the past few months are all of our refueling equipment and calibrations, as well as our fuel filter changes. Anything that was broken or needed fixed with our fuel trucks has been completed. We have been having continuous problems with our GMC pickup truck. It started having issues early in the year, and we diagnosed it with clogged catalytic converters, and we also took it to a dealership and they diagnosed the same thing. It resulted in a pretty costly fix. It was about a $7,000 or $8,000 fix to get that issue rendered, and that could be the fix of the not very running good truck that we have, unfortunately. So we're kind of searching for alternative repair options, see if we can get that truck up and running again, so we don't really have to buy a new one. But and then our 2020 Jeep Cherokee Latitude, we've also been having some issues with that as well. The fan motor kicks on nonstop. We've had it replaced before, and that was for a warranty repair. And we got to take it back in. I already scheduled an appointment so they can get that warranty repair fixed again. It's also been experiencing some shifting issues, as well as some automatic shutoff issues, like when you're at a stoplight, it'll shut off, won't turn back on. You have to cycle the key and turn it back on. So we're slowly trying to figure that out as well. And I've spoke with a couple other departments with the same vehicle, and they've been having the same issues. So we might be possibly looking into replacing both of those vehicles within the next year, but we'll see what repair costs come to in the near future. Grounds maintenance, we have sprung. Spring is now here. We started spring and summer operations. We're in the process of rolling the entire field, including our grass runway, multiple times. We usually roll that anywhere from 4 to 7 times in the spring to ensure a very smooth landing surface. There's no bumps or anything, or any holes made by groundhogs, whatever. We also fill those if there is any. We've also got our mowing equipment out. We've serviced and prepped it for the season. We didn't have any issues over the winter time with any, electrical issues or anything happening with them in storage. So they're ready to go. I assume that we'd be full swing mowing before the end of the month, which is pretty exciting. I'm excited for summer, that's for sure. We've also begun tree trimming and fence clearing. It's always taking place around the airport, especially after we have spring storms, bringing heavy wind and broken branches. We always do kind of a cleanup every couple of weeks from all the rain and storms that we get. We also got a lot of rain, caused a lot of gravel driveways around the airports leading up to the hangars, around hangars, across the maintenance shop. Created some large potholes. We filled those, kind of raked them out, made them smooth for the spring. Bless you. We have also been continuing ground improvements. We've noticed over the winter time, the concrete likes to swell in front of the hangars, which ultimately makes it very difficult for pilots to push the airplanes in and out of the hangar with that massive lip. So after my conference, I've noticed that a lot of other hangars have been using cold patch to make ramps for airplanes coming in and out. So we've been testing a couple theories in front of those hangars, and it's made their lives 10 times easier. And it can also be removed in the future if the concrete swelling goes up or down. So we're trying that out with a few different tenants, and we've had some pretty good feedback with it. We've also had some record-breaking windstorms, and if you guys have recently drove past the airport, we've had our sign knocked down by the wind about 2 weeks ago. We've outsourced to a company that Buildings and Grounds uses to update our sign, to get like a new graphic, our county logo, stuff like that, and maybe some other businesses on there, to kind of promote the airport. Right now, we have a temporary sign that we kind of made up because we're still waiting on the design to come back from that. Let's see here. And then it wouldn't be a airport winter without a fence crash incident, unfortunately. We've gotten quotes and submitted the claim to insurance. We should have the repairs done within the next few weeks. We're still waiting back to hear from insurance. It's been a little bit more of a lengthy process this time, so we're still waiting to hear back from them. Hopefully I hear back from them this week. Moving on here to building repairs and our projects. In the last couple months, we've done usual door handle and cable replacement. Winter kind of takes a beating on, stuff like that. So we've also, those are in our comfort hangars. We've been taking a closer look at the electrical and putting in some much needed updates. A lot of those hangars over there don't have any lights at all. So we've been putting in some lights per code. We've also noticed a couple roof leaks over the spring with a lot of rainfall we've had. So we're pretty well trained in patching any roof leaks, taking care of any issues that they have so they don't leak on people's airplanes. Let's see here. And then our fuel truck barn also has constant issues with birds nesting in the rafters. So we have since sealed that top portion off. They like to, I guess, kind of make nests on top of our fuel trucks. So we've kind of eliminated that. We're not going to have any of those issues anymore. And then more recently, one of our flight school hangar doors started making strange noises and is having trouble opening and closing and stopping at the right time. We've since remedied that issue. There's some little stop modules on there. So we've replaced those. And then the cable was also rubbing on like the electrical cable was rubbing on the cable that was running up and down the door. So we've since rewired it. So, and then rehung it. So it wasn't going to rub for any future issues. And that has now been resolved. Next is our airport operations. Throughout the first quarter of the year, my office staff and I have been fully reworking not only the hangar agreement, but also our quarterly invoicing. Our hangar agreements have also been updated with an amendment to require that all airplanes on field be airworthy and operational, because we do have a number of airplanes that are not, which is very unfortunate. This sparked a few airplane sales, refurbishments, and a couple relocations. So we will have, I want to say, at least 6 opening units for new tenants, which is very exciting. It'll take a few people off of the hangar list and get that number down, because I think we're sitting at about 38 people on the waiting list right now. We've also started hangar inspections. We do those about twice a year to make sure that they're maintaining safety and within regulations of their lease. We've seen a couple discrepancies with this new amendment. Let's see here. These tenants have been notified and we're expecting to resolve the issues within a timely manner. We've gotten a couple letters back from those tenants and we're working through some of their issues. Let's see here. Some of the tenants are increasing a significant amount. So we've implemented these increases slowly over a quarter base period, $5 to $10 on some of the tenants, just so it's not, it's a more smooth transition. We're not dumping a load of money on there, only because over the past number of years, when new tenants were being brought in, they were being brought in at a different price point than others with the same unit and the same amenities. So in that amendment, I've been slowly reworking it, bringing up new hangar rent increases, just so we can have kind of price unity or equality. Because quite frankly, it's not super fair that someone comes in at a $200 hangar, but someone's only paying $100. So it was time to make a big change there. Let's see here. We've also implemented an average charge for electricity among all tenants at Lenawee County. This process was definitely time consuming and difficult due to how the buildings are metered, but we believe we came up with a solution that is fair for everyone. We took account electric doors, lights, outlets, stuff like that. Those who have heaters, we've taken into account all of those things. And for those specific people, they will have a divided meter fee between a certain amount of tenants. And then those with not electric doors, those not with heaters, just outlets and lights, those are in a separate category with a lower meter fee. So that's what we've been up to for the past couple months. And that's all for the manager's report. Thank you.
Mr. Van Dorn.
Thomas, I just have a couple questions. Whose insurance are on the fence? Did we find the person that went through the fence or?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
They were actually, this would have been, I want to say 3 weeks ago, I believe. They came through the fence and they actually tried leaving from the fence. But luckily the police were called and we got it all figured out. We got an incident report number, so everything should be taken care of through insurance.
Perfect. And then secondly, where are we on the replacement of these two vehicles? Are they in the queue?
Not quite yet. I haven't had my meeting yet with Kim. I'd like to set one up soon. We just noticed some of these issues, like our truck has been a long-standing one. We've been trying to fix it ourselves. The Jeep is kind of like a newer occurrence within the past month or two. It's been having these issues, and I wanted to get a full diagnosis from a dealership just to be sure if it was going to be a costly fix or not. But after that, that's when I'd like to, maybe move forward with something, the new vehicle.
Further questions? Mr. Murphy.
Mine's not a question. This is more of a statement. That last bullet point that Thomas brought up, where he talked about his review and analysis of all of the leases on the property and then doing the comparison of like hangars to like hangars, measuring the square foot of each hangar. Making sure that there is some equality. It took a lot of time on behalf of the airport manager and his staff to do this. They also researched law about making sure that the planes that are in the hangars are flying and are able to be flown as stated by law. And they also looked at what was the other one? It was a not landing fees. What was the other one? Field usage.
Yeah, field use fees. Yeah.
There's a field use fee. So they went through and to look at what everybody is supposed to be paying and are working with their tenants to bring everyone up to a fair price. And I just have to say, I was very impressed with the due diligence that they did, the information that they prepared, and at the same time, their need to make sure that the tenants did not feel a burden all at once. So when you have tenants in the same hangar or very similar hangars, and there is a big influx in the difference in what they've been paying, although Thomas recognized the need to make sure that everyone was at the same rate, he is doing this in a very fair manner and he's communicating in depth with those tenants. So I just want to make sure that you're aware of the amount of work that went into that. And I think that his staff did a fabulous job with that.
Mr. Van Dorn.
I remember a number of years ago, we had problems when people were just using the hangars for storage. Because it was cheaper than getting a storage unit. And so, I think we have a rule that if you're using a hangar, that's the reason that they have to have an airworthy aircraft in there and.
Yeah, so when we found like the rules and regs through the FAA, it took a lengthy time to finally find those. It clearly stated that airplane must be airworthy and operational within a hangar that receives federal funding and stuff like that. And it has to be able to move in and out of the hangar without any, obstructions. So those people that were using those for storage, parking stuff in front of those airplanes, it kind of eliminated those tenants. We've been slowly working with a couple of them that did like to use them as a storage unit, and they've been slowly moving their stuff out. And I've been trying to help them as much as I can, offering my help of my maintenance employees for them to help them move, just so it's kind of an easy transition and it's no backlash or anything on the county. So it's been a pretty smooth thing.
And so can we go in there for inspection purposes and check those whenever? Okay.
Yeah, so every 6 months I do field or kind of hangar inspections, field inspections,
Good.
stuff like that. I go in there. Last year I brought in the fire marshal just to make sure, so I have. I kind of make sure that they're abiding by all the rules and regs on field, our rules and regulations that we have stated when we send them a tenant letter, a new one, and within their lease, and make sure that everything that they're doing, they're complying with the lease. So, and I always give them notice, usually about a 30-day notice, and just so they can prep a tour or something like that.
Thank you. Perfect.
Mr. Blanco.
Yeah. What is our capacity for tenants?
We have, I believe in total, just shy of 60 tenants on field. And then sometimes there is a couple shared units on field, so we might actually have a little bit more than that. But for actual airplane storage, we have in between 50 and 60.
Gotcha. That's great. Okay, thanks.
Out of curiosity, if a plane becomes inoperable, it won't run. How is maintenance handled? Is it done on site? What do they do?
So
We have people to do that? Or?
Yeah, we do have 2 certified A&Ps, airframe and power plant, or aircraft power plant, airframe power plant mechanics on field. So that is a huge help to those tenants who do need help. And then some of them, they do outsource to a couple others, more mechanics that they trust, stuff like that. And then we also have a certified or avionics department on field, Heinen Avionics. So we kind of have the best of all worlds on field. So
It's all done on site.
yeah, most of it's done on site. I always refer to the mechanics on field, try to keep them local and stuff like that. And then we also, in the rules and regs that I found through the FAA, it says it's up to the airport manager to give them a reasonable time amount to get those airplanes airworthy and operational. I chose a time frame between 6 to 8 months. Some of the airplanes haven't been airworthy for about 10 years, so I thought that was very fair, 6 to 8 months. It might put a little bit extra workload on the mechanics on field, but if you don't have an airplane airworthy for 10, 15 years, I believe 6 to 8 months was a more than fair, average time span.
I assume there's a fee attached for the mechanics to work.
Oh, yeah. Anything to do with aviation is always expensive. So yeah, there's always a fee attached. Yeah.
Good. Further questions, comments?
No.
Thank you. Hearing none, we'll move to the finance reports.
Finance reports are in your packet. I want to start by indicating that your current benchmark as of March 21st, which is when these reports were ran, was 22%. And at that time, your revenue was at 11.67% of budget. Your expenses were at 10.07% of budget. And I also want to point out that further down in your finance reports, you're going to see under the legal phase 1, a professional contractual line item that shows $27,330 in expenditures. That is where we are tracking the cost for the tree removal project. So those are the costs that we have seen to date on that project. Currently, there is a cash balance in this fund of almost $766,000. And I will try to answer any questions you may have.
Questions, comments? Thank you. Hearing none. Is there any other business be bought? The NASCAR race prep?
Yes.
So I wanted to bring up that the race dates changed for this year. They will be, I believe it's June 8th. It will be the NASCAR race. I believe it's the Firekeepers 400. So we've already had a couple few releases already for that. So we're getting pretty ramped up for that. And then really that's about it. We're kind of just, prepping, making sure. That's why I always do our fuel truck calibrations, our filters, everything early in the year. Those have to be done yearly because these pilots are pretty particular on where they get fuel. So I like to make sure we're clean, certified, everything. We're good to go. So that's really all I have on the NASCAR races. Just wanted to give a quick update on that.
Mr. Murphy?
Thomas, do we still arrange for rental cars for the pilots to get the drivers to get from the airport to the track?
Yeah, usually we get about, I want to say anywhere from 30 to 45 rental cars on field, and we usually get those about 2 to 3 days before, and we'll park them on one of our lots. And then when airplanes show up, we like to have kind of like a curbside service, continuing bringing them there for a courtesy. We pull up their car up there, and then we always have a few different exit routes because there is a lot of fans that like to stand on the side of the road. So those pilots and racers, we always have an alternative route for them to take that kind of like pedestrians can't really stop them. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's steps we definitely have to take.
Fate. Other questions, comments? Mr. Tillotson?
Yes, are we having a little car race at the fairgrounds this year?
I don't know. On the airport or at the?
Yeah, in years past.
Yeah.
Excuse me. In years past,
Hmm.
we would junior achievement or
Yeah.
whatever would have this race.
Yeah. Yep. So we haven't had that in a couple of years. I have gotten a hold of our local, our EAA chapter that was kind of dormant for a few years. I've gotten a hold of the new kind of leader, or I guess really the only word is the leader of the EAA chapter. And I've kind of been coordinating with them to hopefully, start up more events at the airport, bringing in more community involvement. Our junior achievement race, that would be a very cool one to have back, that's for sure. I remember years back, they used to set up, 400 or 500 tires in a track, and there would be a little go-kart track out there. So it's definitely something I'd like to look forward to in the future and plan out.
Well, when and if you get that going, I'm extremely interested in the insurance. And I mean extremely, because in the past, them clowns think that because they're junior achievement, they're just a little below the president.
Yeah.
And they don't need any insurance because they got a friend that's in the insurance business, and they're going to just kind of slide along.
Yeah.
We've had some really big discussions in years past.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, when that, first thing out of your mouth needs to be, we need insurance
Yeah.
on a piece of paper.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know, Jim, you remember them days,
I do.
and no offense to nobody.
Mm.
And you just had to have a proclamation to stop them idiots.
Yeah.
Because, somebody get hurt pretty easy with that.
Yeah.
They're 30,
Hmm.
25, 30 years old, and I think they're undestructive. That little car lead them right up.
Mm.
Car's too small for them to begin with, but, they do this as a fun thing.
Hmm.
I don't want them to stop from having fun.
Hmm.
I just want to say, where's your insurance?
Yeah.
And I
To
want-
be covered.
And I want it covered. I want to see it. I just, you know. If that becomes, I don't know, was about the time school that's out, isn't it?
I guess it is in May.
Middle of June, July?
Oh, yeah, those.
Yeah, anyway,
Mhm.
enough said. I just want to make sure they're insured. And if somebody says, oh yeah, we're all taken care of, that ain't good enough. I want to see it on paper.
Of course.
Thank you.
Mr. Murphy.
Into that, Commissioner Tillotson, I'm glad you actually brought that up. So with the way that the county is doing insurance now, which is different than when we had our previous provider, is most of our insurance is provided through Michigan Municipal Risk Management Authority, and they cover the property at the airport. But we have a separate policy that covers liability at the airport. And a year or two ago, you may recall, the airport manager was wanting to do some fly-ins for the holiday. There's a lot of airports that do on-airport trick or treating. They do on-airport events to encourage, not necessarily the junior achievement races, but they may, but they have different events on the airport. To do that, we have to make sure that before we can even ask another party for their insurance, we need to make sure that our insurance provider is comfortable with said activity, whatever that activity is. And a couple of years ago, we changed who we were going with our airport liability insurance. And within that, the person, our agent, also changed. And that agent was very restrictive. And even though other airports were allowed to do even like trick or treating, where they would shut down, keep airplanes from flying in, but they would allow some planes on the field not running so they could hand out candy to the kiddos, and then they could, go around to the planes, look at the planes, get the candy. Our insurance carrier said, no, we're not going to allow that. So we have been working with them over this last year or so to talk about what kind of events are acceptable and are not acceptable on our airfield. And so I know that we want the public to recognize the airport, the value that it brings to the county, and give them an opportunity to see what's actually going on, because I think it is a little known gem that we have. And so hopefully we'll be able to get some of those programs approved through our carrier. And once we have them approved through our carrier, then we can extend the invitation, and then we would get reciprocating coverage from those that are participating. But at this point, we are working through that. We do not want to host any event in which we know that the county's not covered. So we are being very cautious with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Van Dorn.
Thank you for that, Administrator Murphy. And I think you brought up a very valuable point there about the value of the airport to Lenawee County. So I know last year Thomas was good enough to bring us a report on what that income was. Are we doing how often does that come out? Does that come out annually?
It does yearly. You do have to request it, which I'm going to start doing yearly. It wasn't done in the years past, but I'm going to continue to do it.
And then do we put that on our webpage or someplace? I mean, we really should promote that because it was a big number of what the county, the value it brought to the county.
Yes, we do put that on our website.
Perfect. Thank you.
Further questions, comments? Hearing none, we'll move to public comment. I see there is no public. So I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
It's moved and seconded during discussion. Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.